Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Capricorn is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. This reading is totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Capricorn, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And here we have a Queen of Wands. You're somebody with a deep sense of self, right? I feel like you're a very reflective person. I think that you very often check in with your soul to kind of say, like, you know, who am I right now? What do I want in life? What are my goals? How am I doing? How do I feel, right? What are my values in life? What are the things that really have purpose and meaning to me? Because this card shows us that there's a surface level of the water, right? That's the reflective surface of like a pool, right? And that's kind of a life where we're just doing what everybody else is doing. And then there's the shallow end of the pool, which is where I'm just pursuing pleasure, running from pain, right? Those are the easy levels. The surface and the shallow, they're the easy zone. But in the depths, kind of where you are, it's very sensitive. And it's very raw, it's very honest, right? For this card, we have to lift the veil of our emotions. We have to feel like, am I living the life I truly want? How do I really feel about life? What do I value in life? It's easy to just swim at the shallow end, do what everybody else is doing, just trying to find a good time, that's it. To live the depth here requires an emotional honesty, an emotional transparency, and radical self-acceptance. Let's put this card into some context, all right? We need a few more cards here. You've got a 7 of Swords. You got a 9 of Pentacles, an 8 of Swords, a 3 of Cups, a 10 of Cups. Okay, all right, okay. I see kind of what's going on here. The 3 of Cups is a card of celebration. This is the card of, I think, once we understand what we want, what we value, what we love, what our true deepest desires are. Mercury in Cancer, we start finding a way to get that. We start presenting ourself out there into the world in order to sort of meet up with the right other elements, right? The 3 of Cups is out there searching for another 3 of Cups to make a 6 of Cups. Okay? Here we have an 8 of Cups. We have a 2 of Pentacles. We have the Fool. And we have, we got the Star too. Very good. I like that. I like that very, very much. I think that what you're doing is realizing that maybe exactly where we are right now, we're not feeling like we're really in line with our purpose yet. We're trying to realign ourselves with our star. I think what's happening is that you maybe got a couple degrees off course, which, as we know, that if we continue traveling off course, even if it's 1 degree off course, we're going to end up thousands of miles from home. So what we do is we periodically check in with ourselves, periodic reflection, right? That we have to have these, and maybe we just do it sort of when the mood strikes us, or there's just things that kind of prompt you in life to say, hey, you know what, I need to kind of like meditate on this. I need to pray over this a little bit. I need to like think about it and feel it and try to get that clarity about, how close am I right now to that 0 degree North Star? Right? How am I really tuned in with my star right now, or have I gotten a little off course? Anyway, let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown, and we're just going to set it down over here with big red ant right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Now, as we look around the room, we don't see any major arcane over here. We see two of them over here. We see the Fool and the Star. And I think the Fool is really like the difficult thing for us is kind of letting go and following that spiritual current. It's kind of like a tractor beam, right? That's just sort of like, we just almost feel like we're kind of powerless against that star, that we're trying to lock in on that starlight, and it's just sort of pulling us toward it. Okay, that's not always the easiest thing to do. Letting go, right, is usually not very easy. What we know about manifestation, right, trying to manifest this best life, is that this is a practice. It's not a one-time wish. It's something that needs to be reflected upon continuously, because there are these minor course corrections that always need to be made so we can stay focused and sort of locked in. That internal GPS, that spiritual GPS, locked in on our North Star. Because sometimes we'll get this Seven of Swords and they'll say, we're just getting a little bit off course here. We're starting to drift a little bit from what we're really trying to build or grow in our life. Okay. So we have our majors. We don't have any fire right now. What we have is our water, a lot of water cards. A couple of air, a couple of earth. So the abundance of the water cards, I feel like this is because of that Queen of Cups. It's an emotional time. It's where we're reflecting on what we want, how we feel. Okay? In order to get that sort of, that confirmation that says, you know what? If I'm really honest with myself, I don't feel like I'm quite locked in on my goals right now. I don't think I'm really following my destiny. I have to change a few things. I have to make a couple of different moves. I got to get back on track. Okay? The Seven of Swords is a card of distraction. It's a card of a lot of little minor side quests, right? This could be a card of doubt, could be a card of criticism. To me, it feels like we're realizing that we're not quite locked in. We're starting to drift. It's like the needle is drifting a little bit. It's not locked in on north. We're going a little bit on either side here. And you can kind of look at that and just kind of pretend that as a compass showing north, right? And a few degrees on either side of north, right? We're trying to get as close to locked in as we can get. I think that there are some things in life that we need to let go of. There are some distractions maybe. There are some thoughts or some doubts or some beliefs that we have about ourselves that we need to let go of. The Seven of Swords is a card of distraction, like I said. So I wonder if you're dealing with those distractions now. And distractions could just be other things in life that are kind of like trying to draw us over in that direction, or other people in our lives that we kind of like, we find ourselves getting more and more involved with certain things that may be taking us away from what our central aspirations, our main aspirations are. Letting ourselves just get a little bit off course. It happens. And that's the thing about being a good sailor, right? Is that it's not just about holding the wheel straight and just like taking a nap or something, right? You just tie a rope to the wheel or whatever. The boat's going to drift, and you're going to have to sort of swing it back to north. You're going to have to do your best to keep that needle pointed at 0 degrees north. Well, you're sailing on water and air, right? There's going to be movement. Our thoughts and our feelings are going to fluctuate day to day, and it's our job to just always bring things back to 0 degrees north. And that's kind of what we see with this card. We might get a little off course. We might drift. We might stray. We might think, oh, well, I want to go over here and get entangled in this stuff over here. And then we say, wait a minute. No, I gotta come back to north. It's the same thing with meditation, right? Meditation is the practice. It's a practice, right, of keeping your attention fixed. Let's say I'm just doing my mantra maybe. Doing the mantra, and then pretty soon I start thinking about all these other things. Oops, as soon as we notice, bring ourselves back to center. And I'm doing my mantra. Now I'm thinking about the cat. Whoop. As soon as you recognize it, bring it back to center. And keep doing your mantra, doing your mantra. It's the same thing in life, right? That we may find ourselves, and that's why we have to have these moments of reflection every day, every few days, every month, whatever it is, where we just kind of say, where in my life have I drifted a little bit off course, and where do I need to come back to center? Okay, so that's what we're doing now. I feel like you've been getting some strange phone calls lately. Yeah, the phone's been like ringing, but there's nobody there, or there's one number that keeps calling you, but then every time you answer, there's nothing, or it just hangs up, right? That I feel is kind of it's sometimes caused by our frequency. I think that as our vibration, as our vibration starts to rise, I think a lot of things, especially with technology, I think a lot of things kind of start to act kind of weird, right? Beneath the surface, you have the 9 of Pentacles. You're somebody who is, you want to make progress. You have goals. You have aspirations. We have physical, financial goals, mental, emotional goals, spiritual, creative goals. This is a card of gain. This is a card of like seeing that my life is making progress. You're somebody that likes to make progress. You probably have like a journal or like a spreadsheet or like a tracker, some kind of like a habit tracker, because you like to see the boxes being checked off. You like to see the growth, This card is all about the visible signs of progress. I'm seeing things happen. I'm seeing things getting better. And, I think when we stop and reflect, maybe we look and we think, you know what? I haven't been making much progress in these certain areas. I need to get back on it. Like for me, I kind of realized that, you know what? When I stop and reflect, I haven't been making a lot of progress with my physical health. I need to get back on the recumbent bike. I got to refocus on that goal and get back to 0 degrees north, right? So you have a lot of goals, and I think that you're the kind of person that, you may have, let's say, financial goals, but you have health-related goals, you have spiritual goals as well, and you understand how everything is interconnected. If our relationship isn't going well, then our exercise routine might suffer, or our work life might suffer, or if work's not going very well, then my relationships might suffer, or my physical health, I might lose a little focus on that. Okay, so for you, everything's tied together. Yeah, everything's tied together. The 8 of Swords in the background. This was a time where you weren't sure. To me, this feels like someone who's kind of lost at sea. This feels like somebody who's on a boat, doesn't really know how to sail, and is kind of almost feels like they are just at the mercy of the ocean. You're just a cork on the ocean, right? But I think that through this periodic reflection and through trying to understand where you've gone off course and what your course even is, I think that you're becoming a very good sailor, right? Smooth seas never made a great sailor. You only become great by going through the storms, by going through the difficulty of sort of picking a heading and trying to stay on that course, even if you go through storms. Even if it's like, okay, I've strayed off course, I got to bring myself back. Even if sometimes we intentionally go off course because we don't want to go through a particularly bad storm. So we're becoming very good at knowing that, at understanding how that process works. So as you're focused on your goals, sometimes it's not really a good idea to just go straight through. The quickest way from 2 points is a straight line, right? But sometimes going through that straight line is going to take you through a really bad neighborhood. So you might drive out of your way a little bit to avoid that neighborhood. You could go through the neighborhood and you could probably be okay. But it might be wiser sometimes to go around. You don't always have to go through the briar patch or through the thorns or through the thicket or through the dark, scary forest. Sometimes you can just say, well, maybe I'll take a detour. But the idea is we don't want to get lost at sea. We have to be able to find our way back and to stay on course. Okay. The three of Cups is now Mercury in Cancer. Like I said, it's communicating our aspirations or our desires or our feelings, finding a strategy in order to get the life we want. Okay. And this isn't just now, we could look at it as being the surface of the water. And I just want smooth sailing. So what do? Well, if I see a storm up ahead, I'm just going to turn the other way. How about that? Anytime I see a storm, I'm going to turn the other way. And then I won't have to be a good sailor because I'm avoiding all the storms, right? And that just becomes a life then, again, a life that's geared toward, if it feels good, I'm going to keep doing it. If it starts to feel bad, I'm going to go the other way. And we end up just going in a circle. So we're sailing rather smoothly, but we're going in a circle, so what the heck is the point anyway? So this card then is understanding the life we want and knowing that it sometimes takes some work to get it. And sometimes we have to go through the storm, but we have to be willing to sort of make our wish if we want the wish to come true. So this is us making the wish. This is us, sort of pronouncing to ourselves what our goals are, and our goals are this, right? This is the manifestation of your goals. This is the granting of your wish. This is your dream coming true. And we know that it's going to take a lot of course corrections and a lot of learning, and it's going to take a lot of overcoming self-doubt. We're going to have to learn to celebrate our wins. Okay, the Nine of Pentacles, we're sort of enjoying our abundance. We're going to celebrate. This is a card of celebration. We're going to celebrate our success along this path, but we're not going to only seek out the smooth waters because we know that sometimes it's going to be a swamp. Sometimes it's going to be a storm. Okay, so we'll talk about the Eight of Cups, but the Ten of Cups is the goal. This is where we're headed. The bliss, the perfect, the paradise. We're searching for the oasis. We're trying to sail to our best life, our dream come true, our picture perfect life of contentment and love and connection and bliss and all those great things. Okay, I feel like this is what you really, really want. We've done the work of sort of reflecting on who we are and where we are and what I want right now. This is what I want, and these are the corrections I have to make in my navigation in order to get what I want. Okay. Now the Eight of Cups here. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The readings are totally free. You're the kind of person that you understand that life is not always celebrating our wins. Sometimes we're licking our wounds. Sometimes we are getting through a storm just barely with our sails intact, right? That we're sometimes we're happy to just be okay, right? Sometimes the Eight of Cups is this feeling like we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. So we have an Eight of Swords. It's kind of like between these two, it kind of feels like maybe we're lost at sea a little bit. But I think we're making the course corrections to get back. Okay, I think that you are going to be celebrating even more wins. You're going to be celebrating even more abundance. But we got to get back on course because I feel like there are some changes that you have to make in life in order to get back to this path right here, the vertical path, right? Where we are going on this Ace of Swords straight ahead, and we're getting the abundance, and we're celebrating it. This is where we want to be, right? We want to keep making progress and keep feeling good about the progress. We want to be on that straight and narrow path, the Ace of Swords right in the middle. We don't want to stray too far off course and end up feeling that we're lost at sea and that we're stuck, or even worse with the Eight of Cups, we're starting to feel hopeless. Okay? So changes have to be made to get us out of this feeling. This is a feeling like I'm lost and there's no way to get back. There's always a way to get back. We have to be proactive. And that's the Two of Pentacles. In your environment, in your relationships, you have to grab the wheel. And you have to know that Spirit is holding your hand and we're turning the wheel. But the Two of Pentacles is change. It's harmonious change. If we don't change anything and we're off course, again, even by 1 degree, and we don't change, we never correct our course, we're going to be thousands of miles from where we want to be. So we have to realize that we need to make some changes. Maybe this is lifestyle changes, friendships that need to change, other relationships that we might have gotten too entangled with, other other things that we're doing when we should be doing something else, you know, that we might need to do these little minor adjustments. Okay? This is harmonious change in your relationships and in your behaviors and your activities, with, you know, the way that you interact with the world around you. So for me, this is, okay, I need to make the choice to get on that recumbent bike more often. I need to make a point, I got to do it every day. Even if it's for 5 minutes, I'll do it every day. Okay? It's being proactive. And it's not being in the eights here, the Eight of Swords and the Eight of Cups. This is not being proactive. This is almost like giving up. This is saying, I know I'm off course, and I know I need to do some things, and I'm just going to do it. A little bit of effort every day is better than no effort at all. Okay? So this, I think, is us kind of taking a little bit of control here and bringing ourselves back to those activities, those behaviors, those tasks maybe that are going to lead to our goal. Okay, so it's kind of like Spirit's way of saying, don't take another step in the wrong direction. Let's course correct right now. And maybe that's kind of maybe it's a bit of a red alert here that says, you know, every moment that we stay 1 degree off course, we're getting further and further and exponentially farther away from our goal, from our North Star, right? Our star here, our highest aspiration for life, whatever that is, which is going to, you know, it's the Ten of Cups feeling. So the Two of Pentacles is now saying we need to turn this boat around a little bit, okay? The Fool in the position of the obstacle, okay? As much as we're saying that we need to grab the wheel and we need to bring ourselves back on course, we have to be willing to let go of those things that are preventing us from doing that. Okay? And in some ways, we need to kind of trust ourselves. We need to trust Spirit that we can get back on course, and we know how to find our North Star again. Okay? So there's no fire energy here. So there's no real human ambition. This is kind of like we're trying to let Spirit take the wheel, in other words. Okay? We're not trying to force anything. We're not trying to assert ourselves necessarily. We're trying to allow Spirit to kind of grab us by the collar and pull us back to where we need to be. Okay? And it's very difficult for sometimes for us to kind of let go in that way. But with the Fool, I feel that it's never too late, I guess, is kind of the message that's coming through. That it's always, we can start right now. Even if we feel like we've strayed really far from our goals in life, there's no reason not to just begin right now in this moment to point our ship in the right direction. The sooner we get started in the right direction, the sooner we'll get to the goal, right? You have a lot of good cards here. But the fact that we have the 7 and the 8 and the 8 of Cups over here is kind of saying, like, look, you just need to you need to let go of whatever your doubts, whatever your distractions are, and let Spirit guide you. Let Spirit take the wheel. All right? Put Spirit back on top. Let Spirit take the wheel. And the Fool is kind of letting go of the distractions, letting go of the doubts. Yeah. And the Star card, of course, is our destination. This is kind of, and it may feel like it's still a fairly distant goal. I think it's a lot closer than we think. It may feel like we've strayed really far from our north, our true north, but I think that we'll find a lot of improvements very, very quickly once we start doing the right things again. Yeah. This is a card of insight. I think that this is the card that is trying to tell us where we've gone off course. That's what the Star does. It tries to teach us that we're the magician. It tries to remind the Fool that the Fool is the magician. And basically saying, like, doesn't matter where you find yourself right now, you can always turn your ship north and sail in that direction. It's never too late. We can start right here, right now. But to do that, we have to allow this light in, and that light is going to show us where we've been either sabotaging ourselves, whether we've been doubting. It's going to show us all our knots of karma, all our sore spots, all our weak spots, all our triggers, all our buttons. And once we start acknowledging those and trying to let go of some of that, this star is going to show us our path. We're going to be navigating by starlight. Okay? And we're going to be right back on course, and it's going to be, we're going to find our 10 of Cups before we know it. Okay? It's really, really close. I want to look at the mystery card. And I want this to be, oh, I don't know, maybe some more water energy, maybe some earth cards. I mean, we could do that. Maybe the Wheel of Fortune, right? Kind of letting Spirit take the wheel of the ship. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's take a look. That's the Magician. Well, of course, because that's what the Fool is remembering that we can do this. Remembering that, oh yeah, Spirit's working through me, and I have the power at any moment to change my life, or to get my life back on course, or to just say, you know what was I doing over here? I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to aim toward my North Star. We have that power to do that. We are the Magician. The Fool is the Magician. Okay? And this is not human ambition. This is something flowing through us. The divine energy flows through us. We are merely the transmitter of that divine energy. Spirit is working through you. It may be your hand upon the wheel, but Spirit's working through you, guiding your hand. Spirit is the hand upon the wheel. Okay? And I feel like you're refocusing on your goals, and you're renewing your aspiration, you're renewing your commitment to your goals, and you're going to achieve them before you know it. I think this is beautiful. We're going to do an extended reading as well, but since this is a bonus reading for you, Capricorn, we're just going to go straight into the extended reading. Okay? New readings for Capricorn, usually on Thursdays and Sundays. All right. By the way, if you want to subscribe to the extended readings or join the channel, there is a link in the corner, and there's a link down below. Okay. New readings on Thursdays and Sundays. This is a bonus reading, and I can see it was hopefully useful. Hopefully it resonated with you a little bit. Be sure to watch your other readings too. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together. All right, let's get started. We're going to do a hexagram from the I Ching. We'll do some oracle cards and some tarot cards. We're going to leave all this stuff here because I want to see how the energy might interact and what new details come through. Your hexagram today is hexagram 35. 35. Looks like a good one. 35 is progress. 35 is advancement. Recognition, promotion, reward, rapid and easy change. This hexagram comprises fire over earth. This evokes the image of the sun effortlessly rising above the horizon at dawn. The ascending sun suggests new beginnings and bright hope for the future. And so it announces a period of surprisingly easy progress and ever-widening expansion. Delays have been banished, and we are finally presented with an opportunity to fulfill a goal. It also stresses that it is proper for us to emulate the rising sun, allowing our work and talents to help illuminate each other's paths. This is only possible when we keep our motives pure. Just as struggle often consolidates character, progress requiring little effort may undermine it. Therefore, the cultivation of self-awareness is strongly advised. Our light must not become clouded by insincerity or vanity. When we find success easily, it is not uncommon to slip into pride or self-indulgence. These must be avoided, as must the tendency to put on airs or facades or to rest on our laurels. Business prospects are very favorable at this time, with new careers or promotions easily attainable. Relationships are equally positive, and it also suggests that this is a fortunate time in which to move to a new house or even a new part of the country. This is a very good omen and a very auspicious sign for you. Okay? I think this is saying that, the sooner we get back on course, the easier things will be. The more it feels like that tractor beam where Spirit's just pulling us to our goals. That's a very, very important hexagram. We're going to do an angel number as a mystery card. Oh, and we got one mystery and one not mystery. We have 24, the good times, leisure, rest, holiday, pleasure, love, affection, kindness, and happiness. I wonder if that's kind of what the I Ching was talking about too, is that we might be kind of, we might be in this mode of kind of getting distracted by pleasure and by joy and celebrations and stuff. And it might be kind of saying that, hey, it's kind of time to, to get back to your tasks here, to get back to your goals, right? Let's do an oracle of empowerment. The solar crown. I am decisive and wise. When action is required, I move swiftly with courage. When wisdom is necessary, I step carefully with grace. I trust my intuitive wisdom to decide correctly. So this is kind of like saying the magician is crowned with the spiritual crown, the solar crown, and we're taking in the direction. We're letting Spirit take the wheel, basically, right? I like that. We're going to do an oracle of the radiant sun. Concentration. Okay. Concentration is exactly what we need right now, because what we have in the Eight of Swords is Jupiter in Gemini. This, of course, is Saturn in Gemini. We need less complexity and more concentration, more simplicity. We need concentration and not like a dispersion of our mental energy. Maybe it's kind of the idea that we have too many things on our mind right now. What we need is concentration. We've got to concentrate on our goals. We got to get rid of the distractions. Let's do an oracle of creativity. The counsel. Seek out the counsel of those whose lives and creative work you most admire. Right? So like I said, the Three of Cups is sort of seeking out another Three of Cups in order to make a Six of Cups. So it may not be like the counsel that we're seeking, but connection that we're seeking. By connecting with other people who are also on the path, also have goals, or also very committed to their North Star, it encourages us. We are the company we keep, basically, right? So I like that. We're going to do an oracle of Metatron. Chakra, the light body, full chakra activation here. And this kind of looks like someone is being pulled up in a tractor beam, right? So I feel like when we start focusing on our goals now, it illuminates us in all levels of being, right? With the Nine of Pentacles too. Every dimension of our being is seeing some electrical activity, right? Some spiritual activity. And I feel like we're being drawn up into our life, into our goal with very little resistance. Right? Kind of is even in the same posture, similar posture as the Fool. Kind of this posture of just accepting, yeah. Letting go and releasing in a way. So the Path of the Serpent, we're going to use the Handel Tarot. We have the Devil. We have the Eight of Wands. We have the Eight of Cups. And we have a Six of Swords. Very good. Six of Swords is this, we're sort of locked in. Six of Swords is beauty and harmony. It's science. It's kind of showing that we are, we're focused, that everything we do now is aimed toward our goals. That all the distractions, all the meaningless stuff, we've minimized it, and everything we do now is focused either directly or indirectly on the goal. All right, we kind of have the divine blueprint, we have the map. Basically, the Six of Swords is us getting back to the navigation. We're getting our GPS is hooked up, and we're seeing the directions. Okay, we have our course plotted. Of course, what we don't want, the energy, the obstacle here is this idea of failure. We gotta let go of this Eight of Cups. We got to let go of this feeling of being lost or helpless or hopeless. And we got to give that up right now, because that's the obstacle to us getting back on course. Now, with the Eight of Wands, kind of goes with our concentration and complexity. I feel like we're trying to do too many things at once. I feel like with the Eight of Wands, our energy is scattered in too many directions. We need to concentrate and consolidate, because you're involved with a lot of things that don't really mean much to you anymore. And so why keep doing them? Take that energy and focus it on the goal. Okay. We've got the Devil energy, which is kind of us. It's two things. It's the temptation to sink into this feeling. For some reason, when we feel like this, it's very easy for us to stay in this feeling. It takes a lot of effort to get out of it. But this Devil card is either going to be us tempted to stay in here, the seduction of this feeling to stay in this feeling, or it can be the driving force that says, I am getting out of this swamp no matter what. Doesn't matter what it takes. I'm climbing this mountain to my goal. We get fired up. We get we get a motivation here. It's almost like we're being fueled by this. It's Mr. Fusion, right? And Back to the Future. You put garbage in there and it's fueling the goat. What do they say about goats? They eat anything, right? Anything is nourishment. Well, I'm going to take this miserable state that I feel and I'm going to use it to like kick some butt. I'm going to use it to get fired up here and climb up this mountain no matter what it takes, just to prove that I can. So rather than sinking into the feeling and saying, well, I've strayed from my path. I can't do it. I don't know what to do anymore. We're saying, you know what? I'm going to do it just to prove that I can do it. So this, to me, this is that engine of the car that just wants to just rev and just wants to get fired up and wants to climb that mountain. Okay. So very good energy. Let's look at this mystery card. Angel number 1010. It is up to you. Moderation, patience, flow, clarity, joy, movement, self-realization, taking action, and unconditional love. It's time to put those long-cherished ideas into action. You will soon come into contact with the appropriate individuals, circumstances, and resources. Eventually, you will experience joy as well as brand new opportunities. Trust in the process. I like that. I like that. We might be sacrificing some of the good times, right? We might feel like we've kind of been on holiday a little bit, and now it's time to get back to work, right? And it's never easy to get back to work after a holiday, right? But we got to get the motivation. And I think it's going to be even a more wonderful experience over the long term than anything we might be being asked to let go of now, you know. Anyway, I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate you greatly. I love you deeply, and I hope to see you again very soon.